Well, another big show of force overseas, the USS Michigan. This is a nuclear-powered submarine armed with Tomahawk missiles. Remember them? Docking in South Korea to join the fleet of U.S. forces in the region. This as North Korea conducts a huge live-fire drill to mark the founding of its military. Could our show of force in the region be joined with a diplomatic effort from a very unexpected U.S. ally, at least for President Trump? Here now is Claudia Rosette, Independent Women's Forum Foreign Policy Fellow and author of the book, What to Do About the UN. And Claudia, it is the UN about which I speak, not an institution that Trump has spoken very favorably of. But is it conceivable that they could help in this effort, a two-pronged effort, military force by the U.S. or a show of force by the U.S. and diplomatic force by the UN?
David, unfortunately, it's highly unlikely that the UN is going to seriously help with this. They're actually part of the problem.
How so? How are they part of the problem?
Well, it's the United Nations that admitted North Korea as a member state in 1991, along with South Korea, thus helping to legitimize the rule of this Kim dynasty that is now causing such incredible trouble, and was then. It's the United Nations where China and Russia still hold those vetoes on the Security Council. And Trump is engaged in some very interesting maneuvering, trying to basically say to them, you're going to play ball. You've got to do this our way.
Well, Claudia, let's just play the president, words from the president yesterday, which I found is shocking because as much as he's dumped on the UN in the past, he was praising them in pretty high order. Let's play the tape.
I have long felt the United Nations is an underperformer, but has tremendous potential. The status quo in North Korea is also unacceptable, and the Council must be prepared to impose additional and stronger sanctions on North Korean nuclear and ballistic missile programs.
So is there any chance that the Council, he's talking about the UN Security Council, would do that, impose stricter sanctions on North Korea?
Oh, I'm sure they will, David. The problem is, will those get any job done? Will they actually stop this threat? Because the UN Security Council has been imposing sanctions on North Korea since 2006. Okay? Every time North Korea conducts a nuclear test, and we've now seen 5 over the past 11 years, the Security Council passes binding sanctions and says these are the toughest yet. Well, North Korea carries on. One of the reasons being that whatever China and Russia and various other UN member states agree to with these sanctions, they don't necessarily do anything about it. They don't actually stick to what they agree to.
Well, Claudia,
this is what we've seen.
I'm thinking of a variation of that old line, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. In this case, is it damn the UN, just full speed ahead with the torpedoes?
Yes. I mean, the way to solve this is never mind the United Nations. And I think what Trump was trying to do, my read was it was like the Godfather inviting the Security Council to lunch at his house, you know, and saying, if you don't do what I need from you, you're going to lose all that money that gets sort of lavished on these corrupt programs. But the trouble there is they're going to still, whatever money they get, they're still going to use. And the basic problem is it's the U.S. that has to lead. And the UN has been, by and large, a hindrance.
Yeah, no, it looks like we are ready to lead for once in a long time with regard to North Korea. We have to leave it at that. But I got to tell you, Claudia, you hit my heart with that movie reference. You know the way to my heart. Claudia, thank you very much. Good stuff.